Hello everyone, it is your boy RG Madao, but I'm no longer RG Madao, I am now SP Madao or Sexy Pants Madao or SPM, whichever one you want to call me, you know, it's whatever. This is my new solo channel, and be prepared because I will be bringing you a lot of Wi-Fi battles on this channel, hopefully every day. And sooner or later the layout will come, sooner or later the logo will come, sooner or later everything will come. I just feel like uploading because I'm in the mood for it, and I can't just wait. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, this is an NU battle, and it's a pretty interesting one because, as you see, he does have Stoutland, which means he is running Sand in NU, which is perfectly acceptable because Stoutland, as of January 3rd, has been moved down to NU, which is honestly kind of frightening, but at the same time, since it's not permanent Sand, he's somewhat doable or beatable. Anyway, let's talk about the teams here. Like I said, the Stoutland's a big threat. The Jumpluff is also a big threat, mainly because if it wants to play anything, put my team to sleep. Then again, that's why I got my Prankster Leopard to do some encore substitution shenanigans. Then obviously I got my Credilly Tentacool defensive core, mainly because I really love that core a lot. Plus, you know, set up T-Spikes, do all that stuff. I'm running two Choice Scarfers in the form of Electabuzz and what's it called? The Big Rock, Cranidos, not Cranidos. Rampardos. This is an actual team. I just did grab bags, and then Braviary, left for Braviary. So let's get started off with the game. So anyway, I'm going to lead off with my Leopard, as my opponent does decide to lead off with their Mawile. Now, Mawile does happen to carry the Intimidate, and my attack does get lowered. However, since I'm running foul plays, not a big deal. Now, I go for the sub, figuring that this is most likely going to carry the Stealth Rocks. But unfortunately, he just goes straight for Super Fang, knocking out my sub, which was the better play on his part, because obviously I could have encored him into the Stealth Rocks and then switched out into my Tentacool, went for the Rapid Spin and all those shenanigans. But anyway, I want to go out to my Daisy Duke now, knowing that he's probably going to Super Fang, but I'm not too scared of it, mainly because I do have Recover and I'm bulky, and obviously I'm also carrying the leftovers. So what I can actually do is just go for a nice Earth Power and get some nice damage out on the Mawile. That way, this thing will be less of a problem later on in the game. Now, he ends up Toxiting my Credilly, which I was kind of wary of. However, I just wanted some damage on the Mawile, considering nothing on my team really wants to take it out at full health. Braviary doesn't want to take it out with the superpower at full health. Electabuzz is Focus Blast, and this is a lot, so it's unreliable. And Cranidos might be able to, but I don't know. No, I'm just going to go on and recover this turn, knowing that he's probably going to switch. As he does end up doing that, he goes out and straight into his Cacturn, which kind of is really scary, because I know a lot of Cacturn sets, which are Sub, Swords Dance, Drain Punch, and C-Bomb. So he's going to actually end up pulling a nice double switch into his Regirock, predicting, I'm guessing my, not Tentacool, predicting something on my team. I'm not sure what. I ended up going on to Leopard, which is fine by me because I can easily encore him into Stealth Rocks just in case he wants to set up with this guy. However, he doesn't. He ends up going straight for the Rock Slide, really making sure that I'm not allowed to get behind the sub. So right now, he is completely outplaying me, making sure that my Leopard can't do any of his shenanigans, and he's doing a very great job of that. But I want to switch out here, go on to my Daisy Duke, as he finally decides to set up Stealth Rocks, which I was hoping his Mawile would be carrying. However, now that I know that this thing is carrying it, Mawile's fourth move is kind of a mystery to me. Now, he's going to end up setting up the Sandstorm right here, as I do decide to take this time to set up my own Stealth Rocks, mainly because I could have easily hit this thing with an Energy Ball and done massive damage. Unfortunately for me, he does have Stoutland, so I'm actually very scared at this moment because he could easily send a Stoutland here on an Energy Ball and or an Earth Power and start going to work on my team. Luckily for me, he ends up going out into Cacturn instead. I'm not sure if this is a Sandvale Cacturn. If it is, well, who cares? It wasn't really a big deal. But anyway, I'm gonna go out. I actually went out into Leopard at the same time. Just fine by me because I can hit this thing for a foul play to see if he wants to set up. If he doesn't want to set up, well, Leopard isn't really doing anything this game, so I might as well death fodder it right here. Luckily for me, I do manage to get a crit with this foul play, which definitely mattered because normally that would have done nothing. As he went straight for the Seed Bomb, knocking out my Leopard. So luckily for me, he isn't trying to set up with Swords Dance, which tells me that he might not carry, because normally you would think that he would have attempted to, but oh well. Now I'm going to go into Electabuzz because he decides to go for the Sucker Punch, and it does a lot of damage to me. However, I do manage to survive it, but then I miss my Focus Blast. So at this point, my Electabuzz is at 1 health, and I'm figuring, alright, I might as well save this thing for death fodder. You know, it was a shame that it didn't really get to do anything. But I decided to save it as death fodder, like I said, and go out into my Tagger and over my Braviary as he decides to take the opportunity to set up 1 layer of spikes. Now, at this point, I'm fine because I am a Life Orb variant, not the Choice Scarf variant. I can easily go for a Roost as he decided to go for the Sucker Punch, which was fairly obvious. And now that I went for the Roost, I figured, you know what, I can definitely take a Sucker Punch at max health. And at the same time, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to attack me right now. So it should be fine if I just go straight for a Brave Bird or a possible return or superpower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a superpower just in case that Regirock and or Mawile wanted to come in. And luckily the Regirock does happen to come in, allowing me to do a good chunk of damage to this Regirock. Now unfortunately, because of superpower's effect, I do lose 1 stage in defense and attack, which means I'm kind of forced to switch out right here, and I end up going out to my Sleepy or my Electabuzz as death fodder, as he decided to go straight for a T-Wave, I believe. Now, obviously, since I saved Electabuzz as death fodder, that actually kind of saved me a little bit because nothing on my team wanted to really be T-Waved all that much and risk the paralyzation. Now, I end up sending out my Tentacle and going straight for a Rapid Spin because I do not need these rocks out on the field, as he decided to go straight for a Sandstorm, trying to set up his Stoutland for victory. Now, he's going to decide to stay in again this turn, as I do decide to go for the Scald. Luckily for me, I'm able to land the burn on the Regirock, which is beautiful because now, even if he goes for Earthquake, my Tentacle should be able to live it. Now, unfortunately for me, he did go for Stealth Rocks, which means on my next turn, I'm going to have to go for the Rapid Spin. Luckily, he doesn't go down the burn, so I should be able to do it fairly easily. But he does see this as an opportunity to go into his Stoutland, get a free turn into his Stoutland without risking the chance of getting burned from my Scald, which is a good play on his part because he is able to now take out my Tentacle with the Wild Charge while doing damage to himself with Life Orb. And I believe recoil, I could be wrong in that. No, and recoil. Alright. So now, I don't know why I would be wrong in that. He has Sand Rush. I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes, guys. But anyway, I'm going on with my Credilli. I know he has the superpower, however, I want him to use it. That way, he'd be at -1 attack, and I can easily send in something. Now, luckily for me, I do happen to survive this superpower thanks to the fact that my Credilli is max HP, max physical defense. Hit him with an Energy Ball, and then pretty much essentially get a lot of damage on him because of Life Orb, the Energy Ball, and he's at -1 attack. Now after he uses the second one, he will be at -2 attack and -2 defense, which is perfect because that means my Braviary should be able to survive a Wild Charge from this Stoutland, and I could send it in easily to either Revenge Kill or get some nice damage on whatever he wants to bring in. Now because I went for superpower before, I doubt he's going to want to go into Mawile, so I believe I went straight for a return. Unfortunately, he did decide to go for the Wild Charge, which did a lot more damage than I thought it would, considering he was at -2 attack, but that just shows you the power of Stoutland. Now, at this point, I'm kind of worried about my Tagger, considering he's at a very low amount of HP, and luckily for me, though, I did happen to Rapid Spin the rocks away, and then he goes for the, his Intimidate activated, which in return activated my Defiant, actually giving me a +1 attack boost, which is just beautiful because at this point the Sucker Punch is obvious, so I'm just gonna go straight for the Roost, and I'm gonna get almost I say 3/4 of my health back, and the Sandstorm goes away. So at this point I'm sitting pretty I'm sitting really pretty right now, especially since he doesn't go for a Sucker Punch this turn, and I'm able to land a successful superpower, knocking out that Mawile from the range it was at. Thank you for the +1 attack boost. Without it, I'm not sure if I would have been able to do that. Now, he ends up sending out Jump Up, which I'm very scared of because I only got 2 Pokemon left in the form of Braviary and I believe Rampardos. And luckily for me, he doesn't carry the Sleep Powder. Instead, he carries the Toxic and ends up Toxiting my Braviary, which in return allows me to KO the Jump Fluff with the Brave Bird. However, the Toxic is actually a good play on his part because it will whittle me down little by little, and as you see here, I'm back at 97 HP, which is really bad. And I end up sending out his Duosion, as I just straight go for the Roost, really because I need to go for the Roost. If he decided to go for the Acid Armor right here, I probably would have lost this game. However, he went straight for a Recover, which is fine by me. And at this point, I figured, you know what, I'm at neutral. A Brave Bird should be able to do a lot of damage to this Duosion. Duocean. Unfortunately, it doesn't do enough damage to the point where I could take it out with, even though he is recovering. So I'm gonna have to switch out this turn, and hopefully my Rampardos' head charge can do enough damage to the point where our head smash can do enough damage to the point where Duocean would be taken out. However, I'm get very lucky because he decided to death fodder his Regirock, as like obviously Toxic would have taken out my Braviary that turn. So look, so I didn't lose my Braviary, dodged the bullet, and I got a free switch out into my Rampardos. Now I go straight for the head smash after he sends in this Duocean, hoping that it might KO. Unfortunately it doesn't, but it does do enough damage that if he recovered, I probably could have KO'd him afterwards. However, he decides straight to go for an energy ball, which is fine by me because he's at a low enough range where return should be able to knock him out on Braviary. So like I said earlier, I'm going to go straight for the return, and it's going to cleanly knock out that Duocean, which is beautiful because he's down to his last Pokemon, and his last Pokemon would be his Cacturne. Now, unfortunately, the Cacturne does carry Sucker Punch, but I'm going to predict him to not go for it since I roosted all other times. I'm going to go straight for the return. Luckily, I predicted it right, and the Cacturne does go down, essentially giving me the victory. However, in actuality, it was really a tie. So that's a good game. I don't really remember who you are. Oh, this battle was a while ago. If you happen to see this battle, please just say who you were, you know? I know for a fact you don't have a channel though, so anyway, this is SPM, SP Madao, Sexy Pants Madao, Sexy Pants, whatever you want to call me. This is me, and this is just a brand new channel. It's a good solo channel, and I hope I'll see y'all later.